Well, the province is offering post-secondary grads up to $20,000 if they move and stay in Saskatchewan for at least 7 years. The province is one of the few expected to see growth this year. Joining us this morning with more on the incentive program is Saskatchewan Premier Brad Wall. Great to have you in on this.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, not only, in terms of optimism, some economists are predicting that Saskatchewan will lead the country in GDP in the coming time because of the reversal of fortunes over the past couple of years. This is your second big job fair in Ontario anyway, and you saw some success from there last time.
We did. Obviously, the success is due to the fact that we had employers that were at the job fair, not necessarily politicians with real jobs to offer. And we saw in the last quarter of last year our #1 market for new residents in our province being Ontario. Typically it's Alberta. There's a lot of expatriates from Saskatchewan who are coming back home from Alberta. But Ontario, by almost 1,000, I think, was the net producer of new rider fans for the province. And so we're here again with employers this week. And yes, we're talking about our graduate retention and recruitment program that allows post-secondary graduates to earn back their tuition if they'll stay in the province of Saskatchewan. It's first available to Saskatchewan students, but we've expanded it to others across the country.
Well, pretty attractive to a student who's graduating under maybe a debt load, from going to school. But 7 years is a long time to ask someone to stay somewhere. Right. It's rare. Some people don't even keep jobs for longer than 4 or 5 years. They move on to the next thing and maybe locations. Is that realistic?
Well, graduates can earn a portion of their tuition back for each year they stay, starting with 10% for the first 3 and then 20%. So it's not all or nothing. It's not an all or nothing proposition. But and our objective is to get people to stay in the province. So the longer they stay, we know the likelihood of them maybe buying a home or meeting someone or starting a family is better. And so the incentives are there for a longer period of time. But it's not an all or nothing proposition. They start getting their money back right at after the first year.
As soon as they get there. Well, hey, what is it about Saskatchewan that has always battled with keeping people in the province? Now, and as we mentioned off the top, things have turned around quite a bit. And even housing prices have gone up. The economy has really taken off. But there's still, and I think, the Fraser Institute did a study that came out earlier this year, and they were talking about, Alberta and Manitoba growing by 100% in terms of population, and Saskatchewan not. I'm just going to try to find this number. So the population grew by only 9%.
Well, first of all, that's a big number for our province. Sure. Typically, we've had a tough time even keeping up with the national average of population growth historically over the decades, which is about 1% a year. And so this is a big number for us. Last population numbers came out just last Thursday for the country, and we've gained 15,000 people over the last year. So this is very good news for the province. We're not immune to what's going on in the global recession. Certainly we've seen some layoffs in different sectors of our economy, but on a net basis, we're still creating jobs. 2 weeks ago, the job numbers were out, and I think 14,500 jobs created year over year in Saskatchewan, when unfortunately the rest of the country was losing jobs. So it's still, we still see a lot of underlying strength, comparatively strong economy, though we're not immune to what's going on. And it's part of our message here. I do think that in order to sustain this growth, and you've talked about our history here a little bit, we need to make sure we're also diversifying away from a dependence on the resource sector towards the knowledge economy, which is also part of our plan for the future.
Sounds good. Premier Wall, thank you so much.
Well, thanks. And I just want to say we're very pleased with the announcement today that TSN will be moving its headquarters from Toronto to Regina Beach, Saskatchewan. I think it's May 1. We're looking forward to that.
And it's beautiful there, too.
It's great, as you know.
As I know. Thanks so much.